back to another episode of the Unfuck Yourself podcast. Okay, we are continuing on our era of how to stand out, be seen, earn more in career, the source truth of it all, how to get your creator field right, the right ingredients to program into it, and all of those fun things. Okay, this is a little bit of a surprise episode for me. I had a plan for like the 4 episodes I really wanted to lay out for this. However, I was sitting here today and I was like, this needs to be one of the episodes. I want to go into a little bit of my background, how I got to where I am today, where I was, and it was a train wreck, let me tell you. And how the higher self route is not the easy route. Okay, there is a huge spiritual misconception that the higher self route is going to be easy. There's a very big misleading teaching in the spiritual world that if it's meant to be, it will be easy. Or that something shouldn't be so hard if it's supposed to be there for you or in your life. And that is the biggest fucking bullshit. I'm sorry, but it's the biggest fucking bullshit I have ever fucking heard in my life. One, just like how we have a matrix, like a 3D matrix, there is a spiritual matrix. And one of the worst spiritual matrix things that I've heard that literally keeps you stuck in a loop, that keeps you stuck in the spiritual loop and mind fuck, is that if it's meant to be, it will be. And if it is hard, then it's not meant for you. And if it's supposed to be with you, it would be way easier. Please, if that's the information that you have in your brain and you've learned it from somewhere, I want you to literally stick your hand, put it into your brain, pull out that information, throw it on the ground, burn it. That is so far from the truth. So far. The higher self route, the highest aligned route for you in this lifetime is probably the fucking hardest things, hands down the hardest thing to choose and to do. So just know that if you have been on the route of wanting to create this soul pole aligned career and business and financial situation for yourself, and it's been fucking hard and you're questioning if it's for you because it's been fucking hard, take this as your sign is that you're on the right path, okay? I want to explain something to you because I think a lot of people can compare themselves to where someone else is, but they don't know that person's full backstory, okay? So I want to explain to you my backstory. When I was 18, never went to college, I moved to New York City for pro dance. I went to like a dance conservatory out there that like also trained you in Broadway stuff. Like I was singing, I was acting, well also like it was part of the curriculum, I guess. I don't know. It was a dance conservatory, but it was part of like what we had to do to be there. So I had to like sing, I had to have singing lessons. They were like training you to essentially be on Broadway. Well, I always knew I wanted to be in LA. So when I was 19, I left New York and I went to LA. Well, I'm in LA and, slowly but surely, actually not slowly but surely, really fucking fast, I was out there. I got on a dance agency. Within like 6 months of being there, I was going on auditions. I was getting booked for work. I was even getting directly booked for work, which was a big deal. And not slowly but surely, but really fast into that era, I was like, I do not want to dance anymore. And which came as a shock to not only myself, but fucking everyone. I mean, my whole entire family, everyone back home at the dance studio, my dance teachers. I mean, anyone who knew me, they were like, what in the fuck? Even like my high school teachers, like I was obsessed with dance. I can't even begin to tell you how obsessed with dance I was. Like ate, slept, breathed, dance, was fucking obsessed, would wake up, would work out, would train, would go to dance class, would come home, would stretch, would go on an audition. Like I was obsessed, okay? Then when I was booking the work and I was auditioning, if you haven't heard this backstory, there's a whole different like there's a whole long story about this, but this isn't really my point for today. That my point is like how I started this business, of where I'm at now and how we got here. But backstory, I left dance. There's a whole story behind that, not the point of today's episode. If you want to know why, you can go to the very first episode of my podcast ever and hear like the whole like story. Anyway, I leave dance, right? And I leave dance because one, I just literally out of what seemed like nowhere was beyond unfulfilled. And because I got unfulfilled because I started healing my sense of self-image. If you've listened to the self-image podcast, and if you haven't, you need to go listen to those right now, you'll know that when we start to heal our self-image, we stop wanting certain things that our ego wanted for certain reasons. Like I loved dance and I still love dance, but the reason why I wanted to be a professional dancer was for the validation of it. Did I know that at the time? No, you could not have convinced me that at the time. At the time, I loved dance. I was so passionate. It was so beautiful. It was so awesome. It was the greatest thing ever. I wanted to help other people heal through dance. Were all those things true? For sure. But was there a big emotional imbalance that was pulling me toward wanting to professional dance? Abso-fucking-lutely. That emotional imbalance was I wanted external validation. I wanted to feel seen and loved and appreciated on very, very big levels. And I thought, oh, through pro dancing, I can do that. I can get myself up to like the elite spots in the pro dance world, and then I can be a well-known dancer, and then I can get that validation and get that thing and feel like I've made it and feel like I'm good enough. Well, lo and behold, I started to heal my self-image. I started to learn to validate myself. I started to learn how I was worthy and get rooted emotionally to how I was worthy, just because I started to connect to my attributes of who I am at my core. And I really started to heal all these internal things. Well, lo and behold, I no longer wanted to be a pro dancer because I didn't feel the need to go now get that validation from somewhere else. I felt it inside, and that was my driver. When I lost that as my driver, I didn't have this soul calling of a drive to go dance. Well, meanwhile, as I'm leaving pro dancing, I am learning these tools. I'm learning these neuroscience tools. I'm learning how to use my intuition. If you don't know my whole intuition backstory, you can go listen to that in the very first episode of this podcast too. I kind of just give my whole little backstory if you want to go know that. Again, not the point of this episode, but I start to really learn how to develop my intuition that I've always had but didn't really know how to control. It was like a lot going on for me. Started to learn how to develop it. Well, around 21 or 22, I believe, is when I officially left dance. And meaning I left my agency. I didn't take any more work or jobs. I completely just stopped cold turkey. I even just stopped training in classes. Now, when I tell you I took my same passion for dance and I turned that passion into my soul pull passion, which is this work, I am not fucking kidding you. I was up my mentor's ass all the fucking time. Like as much as I could be, I was in classes. I was asking questions. I was implementing and embodying this work in my own life. Like full force just said, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, but I'm going to dive deep into this work and I'm going to learn this work and I'm going to somehow, some way make this a thing in my life that I do. And I just went full force, took the dive off the deep end and fully went in and trusted. Now, was this the easier path to take when I was 22? Absolutely fucking not. What sounds cooler to you? Okay? Like if you're just a human living life, what sounds cooler to you? Being a famous pro dancer or being someone who's an intuitive? And at the time, like I was like, what the fuck even, like, ew. Ew, I was cringed out by even calling myself an intuitive or even calling myself like any kind of spiritual teacher, which I still don't really like the word spiritual. That's for another day. But like I was just so cringed out. When I left dance, and I left one of the top dance agencies in America, and it might even be the world, unsure about the world, but for sure in America. I left one of the top dance agencies in America, and I left like behind technically like all my training, all the hard work I put in. I mean, I've been dancing since I've been like 5 years old, right? Like I've been really serious about it since probably like 15 years old. So like I started actually caring about it when I was 15 and training really, really hard. But still, I've been dancing since I've been 5 years old. So you can only imagine when I give the phone call to my parents, to everyone back in Pennsylvania, to the dance teachers, to the studios, to all the little girls who looked up to me and who I trained and who wanted to be like Miss Allie, right? You can only imagine when I give them the call of, hey, yeah, no, no longer dancing. Nope, I left my agency. Because they always checked in. Like I was so close with my dance family back home, back in Pennsylvania at the time. My dance teacher to this day, her and I still have a strong special connection. She's done so much for me. So they always were in the know of what I was doing. So of course, when I left dancing, like I was going to tell them, they were going to know. Oh my God. When I tell you, I got long texts. I got really mean voicemails. I got my mom sending me long texts. I got my dad yelling at me in my face. Like literally, if you're watching the video, it's this close to my face, like an inch away from my face, screaming at me in my face, telling me, this is the stupidest decision you're going to ever make, Allie. Why the fuck are you leaving dance? Allie, you're so good at dance. Allie, you've worked so hard. Allie, you've already made it. Allie, it's not like you're booking work. It's not like you're not booking work. What are you doing? You're out there booking work. Like, what are you? You're only 22. What the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't retire from dance at 22. Like, what are you gonna do instead? I mean, mean, like what I perceived as mean at the time, right? And just everybody was telling me to not do it. Every single person. There was not one fucking person who was telling me to stay and dance other than like my one of my best friends, Emma, who actually is fun news, is going to be full-time on Team Allie starting probably by the time you hear this episode. So love that. Welcome to Emma. And like one of my really good friends, Megan, at the time, and yeah, there were like maybe a few close friends who knew me, like the LA version of me, who was shifting and healing and becoming closer and closer to who I was on a soul level. Other than that, everyone else was like, you are the stupidest fucking person in the world if you think leaving dance is a good idea. And I could have listened to them. That would have been the easier route. I already had a plan with dance. I was already like decent at it. You know what I mean? I already was on an agency. I was already booking work. Like I already knew who, not everyone I had to know, but I already knew people. I already had connections. I was already like would learn from certain teachers and I wouldn't really call them the dance teachers mentors like that I was learning from in LA, but kind of like if I would have kept working with them, they would have became mentors, right? Like I was already getting these connections. I already knew what I was doing. I already had all these plans. That would have been the easier way to go. Was to continue down that road, the soul plan way, the higher self plan, or was that the ego way and the human want and the easier route? It was the easier route. I could have gone down that road and kept dancing to please everyone, to not have to deal with it, to also like not have to fucking figure out what the fuck I was going to do. You know, like there goes my whole entire life's plan that I was convinced, and I mean convinced, like you ask anybody, I was convinced that was just my life's work was pro dancing. Convinced. And then after I was done like dancing, I was going to choreograph, and like it was my whole fucking life's plan. Well, when I started to shift and heal the self-image stuff, that changed. So and real quick on that, if you're super, super convinced of something, I always encourage you of like a career. I always encourage you to dive in and heal self-image and then see if you still want that career, because we would be shocked how much feeling a soul imbalance of something of like validation or love or appreciation will make us want certain career routes. But if we start to feed ourselves that validation, love, and respect and being seen and value, like internally versus looking for it externally, you would be shocked, myself included, how many people have completely just dropped what they were doing and switching their whole life's path to their soul pull. I see this a lot in the entertainment industry. I've worked with a lot of dancers. I've worked with myself. I've worked with a lot of actors who have had this happen. But it's not limited to the entertainment industry. Anyway, that is a side note. Going back to my point of this podcast, I'm a weaver. I'll weave in and out of things. So trying to keep myself on track here. But going back, The hard route was the higher self plan, was the soul pull, because that required me to leave dance when everyone was telling me not to. It required me to, when people were asking me what I was doing, say, yeah, I'm learning how to train my intuition, and I'm learning about like energetics and how to read energy, and I'm learning about how to create. And I'm learning about how to shift my emotions to create what I want in life, and I'm learning about demons. Oh, that was the best one. I'm learning about dark forces. I'm learning about I'm getting clear on like, oh wait, like we got to clear this shit off of us, and like learning about the dark force world. Like that's what you want to tell people when you're 22 and you left dance. You know what I mean? Like it was not, and I was not secure in myself at that time enough to like be like, yeah, I'm intuitive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. Like it was embarrassing. Like it was embarrassing. So I remember this conversation I even had like with my dance teacher back home. She was like, Allie, like you left dance. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you going to do? Like, I don't get it. And I was like, yeah, like I am going to make podcasts and I'm going to make videos online about, and I'm going to use my intuition to help people. Like you guys are in this world, so you get it. But like, imagine not being in this world and like not being rooted or secure to who you are at all. Not even really being able to fully explain what you're going to do yet because you don't even fucking know. You just know you're intrigued and interested in this shit. Like, so you're not rooted to anything you're saying. It was fucking awful. Like it was hard as fuck. And I know you can relate in some way, shape or form with that. Right. So anyway, I'm 22 and even my boyfriend at the time, like was still telling people I was a dancer because he didn't know what to say. I remember like going to his chiropractor once and his chiropractor was like, oh, like, you know, so-and-so said that you're a dancer. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, no, not anymore. Like poor guy didn't even know what to fucking call me. I mean, I don't blame him. I didn't know what to really say myself. Anyone asked me what I did, I literally like I could not explain it for the longest time. I still honestly like don't know what I do, but at this point, I'm just really rooted to that it works so that everyone just knows it works. I don't really have a great elevator pitch if I'm being honest, but my energy does. Like I don't need an elevator pitch because my energy is really fucking rooted and knows it works now. But at the time, 22 was not rooted in my gifts, abilities, anything at all. So anyway, I am 22 and I am just diving in full force. Now, this is really important because a lot of people, everybody asks me, Allie, what's my soul pull? Like, what does my soul want to do career-wise in this life? Like, how do I get on it right now? And people don't like my answer a lot because what I say is if I never healed myself, if I never just had fun honing in and developing my intuition just because I fucking wanted to and I had a passion for it, if I never did the inner like self-image work, if I never learned neuroscience, if I never learned learned intuition so I could ask source questions and figure source things out and figure out source truths, like for literally pure fun and joy, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today because I can't just like go start a business off of knowing nothing. So me learning all that stuff without charging a single fucking dime, without making it a business, was me being on my soul pull career. Do you get that? Me going and just learning shit, honing in on my intuition, implementing self-image tools, what worked, what didn't work, learning about the dark force world, learning the intuition so I could get source information, learning neuroscience, learning neurolinguistic programming, diving deep into all this, like having a mentor that I've only ever had one mentor, like having in this work, like having a mentor that I am just like really, really, really feel intuitively that it was perfect for me to be learning from him. Like if I wasn't doing all of that for years, I wouldn't be able to have the business because I wouldn't have any gifts or tools to make a business on. So whenever someone's like, Allie, what's my soul path career? And I'm like, right now, it's diving deep in learning XYZ for the next 2 years. They don't like that answer because they're like, no, I want tomorrow. Tomorrow, I want to start to charge money and create a career. No. Your soul pull career is you like learning about whatever that is and waking up those innate soul gifts within yourself. We have a lot of soul gifts and a lot of soul masteries, but we have like we all have top 4 soul masteries. Okay. And with that, all we have to do is remember them. So all we have to do is be taught. Let's say your top soul mastery is intuition. All you have to do is be taught intuition, and it's going to awaken that soul mastery, and you're going to fucking become obsessed with it, be really, really good at it, and it's going to be a great time for you. But all you have to do is get the right tools, find the right tools to wake that up and learn it. But when you learn it, you're just going to be naturally really good at it. So we all have soul masteries, and we have top 4 soul masteries, okay? One of mine is intuition. There are some other things not important for today. So if one of my soul masteries is intuition, part of me being on my soul pull career is learning intuition, honing in on it, and awakening that and remembering that within myself. I can't just go start a business. When I was 22, I couldn't just go start a business the fucking next day of charging for it. I was learning it. Like my soul pull career at the time was to learn that stuff. And by the way, I didn't start learning this when I was 22. I started learning this when I was 19. 19 to 22, that's 4 years, right? Math, 4 years. I still wasn't charging a fucking dime 4 years in. Do we get that? We all want to rush this shit. And I'm telling you right now, rushing things equals not sustainable. One more time for the people in the back. Rushing things equals not sustainable. Everybody and their mom wants to fucking rush their life and wants to rush their career and rush their soul pull. I want you to get this. From 19 until 23 years old, I did not charge a dime for anything I did. I just naturally started creating a business, but like I wasn't like, oh my God, I have to go create a business right now, right? Just learning something. I had just pure passion and joy learning it. And from there I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I tell everyone about this. When I first started learning this stuff, I was 19. I literally was learning this so that I could heal myself, heal like trauma that happened that I experienced in childhood, so I could feel better, so I could manifest and create the dream dance career I wanted. That's literally why I started doing this work. Like it was for dance. Oh, let me like hone in on my intuition so I'm not so overwhelmed, because I was so overwhelmed by my intuition before I had the right tools on like how to use it. Then I won't be so overwhelmed. Then I can like actually focus better and dance. I mean, everything about this was for dance. When I was 19, I was not doing this to make a business. I was doing this for my own just like sound mind and for creating the dance career that I wanted. Well, why I stopped dance when I was 22 is because I fucking fell in love with this work so much. And I said, I don't know how, I don't know when or why, but I want to make this my life. But that was 4 years in. So 19 to 22, that's already 4 years of my soul pull career, technically, that wasn't actually from the human eye, a business or a brand or a career, and I wasn't making money from it. But I was learning about it. I was awakening the soul masteries. I was building new tools. I was learning all of these things, practicing them, trying them on myself and my friends and my peers, and seeing results over and over and over again. Once I found out that, oh my God, I feel so much better. I mean, I healed fucking anorexia. Like your girl was anorexic as fuck and insanely body dysmorphic as fuck. And I remember significantly when I was 21 looking in the mirror and not having the anorexic thoughts and not having the body dysmorphia thought. I was like, oh my motherfuck, this shit works. I healed asthma in this 4 years. Actually, I healed asthma in like 2 years, I'd say. I healed asthma in like 2 years. I fucking healed a lot of father stuff. I healed a lot of trauma from childhood. I healed sexual abuse stuff. Like I shifted so much, and I was enamored by this work and how it fucking worked. And it was just so fun to me. It was so fun, and I saw how much it worked. Then I had this natural pull when I was like 22, 23, to start to go, oh my God, like this fucking works. I'm feeling insanely better. My friends are feeling insanely better who like we're working on this together with. Wait a fucking minute. I need to like tell everyone I fucking know about this. Like I want to teach this. I want to make this my life. And that's when like the business ideas started. I always knew I couldn't work for someone else. I always knew I was going to have my own thing, whether it was with dance or whatever I did. It was always going to be my own. I was always going to be my own kind of employee, self-employed. I would be through dance, self-employed essentially, but, or have my own brand, right? So then naturally I'm like, oh my God. So you know what I did? I started going to the mall. And I couldn't afford to get anything at the mall because I had $0 to my name, but I started going to the mall and acting like I was going shopping. I would go into certain stores in the mall and I would just like become naturally like anywhere I go, I just like to like know, I like to get to know the people, like the employees at the store or at the restaurant or at the coffee place or whatever it is. Like I'm just naturally like, I don't know, I just naturally like to talk to them. So I got to be like, I would get to know like all the girls in these certain stores at the mall. And we would like have fun, we would talk, and I would purposely, not purposely, but I would go in there with the intention of like, I'm going to help them today. Like I'm going to go in there and I'm going to give them an intuitive thing, an intuitive read that's going to help them today. So I started out with doing medium reads because I have been naturally just doing that since I was little, turned it off, didn't really know what it was. Different story for a different day, but I learned how to hone in on my intuition to be able to control it more. So I started with giving medium reads to people, and people would be blown away in these stores. So then they started to be like, wait, like, can I book with you? And I knew what I was doing. Like I was going in there to give them help. Yes, for free. Yes. Knowing word of mouth will spread and they will like want to book with me, or they'll tell their friends and their friends will want to book with me and that kind of thing. So again, is the easier route going into the mall and doing this work for free? Absolutely fucking not. The higher self route is a very, very humbling route. The higher self decision is a very humbling fucking decision, right? Like did my ego want to go to the mall and like give people free information in hopes that they would think it was cool, in hopes that they would tell their friends, in hopes that I could get some sessions for $75, which was what I was charging at the time for 1 hour and 15 minutes? Like very humbling, okay? And I had no money to my name, and it was a very humbling time. Very humbling time. Not the easy route at all. So I would go to the mall, give all these girls the reads. They started loving it. Every time I would go in there, they'd be like, oh my gosh, Allie, like, do you have anything to say today? Like, what do you see? Then I'd start reading them on like their financial block or their whatever block, right? What's cool about intuition is even though I had financial blocks, I could still look at someone else's because of intuition. I was just channeling for them. It wasn't like my advice. So we love that about intuition was I didn't have to have things figured out yet to be able to just read for someone else like what they needed to do and shift and what was stopping them. We love that about intuition. Then people started to like the girls at the stores were like, oh my gosh, I want more. Like I want a full session. So they would start to literally come to my apartment at the time. Well, my apartment at the time was with one of my good friends, Megan. And Megan and me lived in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So like I've had way worse living situations. Like I have had a living situation where I lived with, it was me, Emma, and John in a room. In one room, we all shared twin beds. It was 8 people in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. I've had living situations where me and Emma shared a literal twin-size bed in New York City. I have had way worse living situations than this. However, this living situation, me and Megan, we didn't have any furniture. We couldn't afford it. So people would come to the house or the apartment and I would just be like, oh yeah, like we're getting new furniture. Like we're getting new furniture. Like we got rid of our old furniture. We're getting new furniture. Yeah, fucking right. We never fucking had furniture. I did what I had to do. Okay. So I was like, yeah, we're getting new furniture. Don't mind the new furniture. These people would come to my house. They would sit on my living room floor, no furniture, no nothing, on a fucking gray fuzzy carpet. I'd put like a nice little pillow against the wall for them to lean on. And they would sit there and do sessions with me. The sessions were so good that they didn't care that I didn't have furniture. They would come back. They didn't care they were sitting up on a wall but with a pillow. They would come back. They would tell their friends. Their friends would come. My whole business started with word of mouth. It was not from social media. Social media came after. I did not create a business on social media. It started from word of mouth. Then my friends loved it so much that my clients at the time loved it so much that they'd be like, oh my gosh, will you come to my house? My mom and grandma and aunt are going to be here. Like, will you come to my house and just like give all of us individual readings? I was like, fuck yeah, I will. So I would go to their houses and I would like read their whole fucking family. And it like became this thing. And again, is this the easier route? No, not at all, because I was broke as fuck. And I refused to get another job because I wanted to really, really make this work. I wanted to spend all my time and energy now at 23 growing this business. And I just had this knowing of like, I'm going to eat shit for a while. I've been eating shit since I moved out of my parents' house. Even in my parents' house, I was eating shit because I had to find a way to pay for my own dance classes, which I did. I taught dance to pay for my own dance classes and helped out at the dance studio. Different story for a different day. But again, I had to eat a lot of shit for a very long time. I was very, very, very broke. Every single month from when I was 18 years old until 24 years old. Okay. So that is 6 years. Every single month for 6 years. I didn't know how I was going to pay rent. I didn't know how I was going to pay bills. I didn't know how I was going to eat. I didn't know how I was going to keep the lights on. I didn't know how I was going to put gas in my car. I didn't know how I was going to get a new outfit if I ever needed it. I didn't know how I was going to get my new mascara. Like, I didn't know how I was going to fucking do a thing. Every single day, every single month for 6 years. I want you to think about that for a fucking second. If I would have taken the dance route, I would have been able to book work. And when you book work, especially in TV and film, it's a pretty good paycheck and that can last you till your next job. Meanwhile, you can teach dance. Teaching dance pays pretty well. Like anything between like $80 to the skies are the limit if you fill out a big class, right? So I could have like been making pretty solid money. I could have left dance, gotten a normal job and made like, $4K a month at the time, which would have been, I would have been rich at that time if I was making $4K a month. It would be, that's all I even fucking dreamed of was making $4K a month at that time. No, instead, I ate shit for 6 fucking years every single day. Like, and then I kept eating shit after that, but we'll get to that in a second. But every single day, could not pay, was always worried. Didn't know I got evicted from apartments. I've gotten my car towed because I couldn't pay the bills on it. Like, I've gotten the lights turned off. Like, you name it, it's happened. Okay. I ate fucking shit. I didn't care because I knew I was like on this line. I call it like the line. You're just on this fucking line and you don't see anything else. And I remember 23, like I started getting like paid for helping people. And it was really fucking cool. And it was working. And people were getting results. And my business was word of mouth. And that's like a very humbling train too, to have your business be word of mouth and not grow it on social media, because you've got to be out there. You've got to be telling people what you do. You've got to be going to people's houses. You've got to have them come to your house with no furniture. They're sitting on the floor. It's very humbling. I didn't have fucking furniture. I slept on an air mattress for a very, very, very long time. Like, I could have gone and gotten another job just so I could have the external validation of like, oh, Allie has it together. Allie has furniture. I said, fuck that. I'm going to eat shit now so that later in life, I'm thriving and I don't push back my soul pull just so I can look to the outside people, quote, better. I didn't fucking care. I didn't care what people thought of me. I said, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to be a millionaire before I'm 30 and you're going to fucking see. And you know what? That fucking happened. Was a millionaire by 28. So, higher self route, you're going to eat some shit. It's gonna be humbling. People are not going to fucking understand. Okay? Then 24, I'm 24. This is my famous story about, well, famous, in our community. It's no one, not in the world, but famous in our community that you always hear me talking about. It's February 2020. I was a little bit tired of eating shit at this point because I was working my ass off since I've been 19 at this point, okay? Working my ass off. And I've worked my ass off my whole life, but with dance. But I'm going to just for this, the what I do now stuff, since I've been 19. It's February 2020, and I'm fucking tired of eating shit a little bit. I'm like, okay, I've got to start to make some money in this, or else I'm going to have to get another job because these babysitting gigs, they're not, and like hoping and praying my rent's going to work out and getting real creative. I may or may not have, do I even want to tell you this? Yeah, I do. I may or may not have sold some feet photos at one point. Like, I had to get creative, okay? I hate that I'm telling you this. No, I don't. It's actually hilarious. This is the first time I'm telling you this, actually, I think, on the podcast. I've told like smaller group classes this, but here we are. I'm just outing myself. So, should you go sell feet photos? No, I was in an imbalanced place. Do not go do that, okay? But I was tired of eating shit. So, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm going to have to fucking do something. So anyway, my intuition was like, February 2020, my intuition was like, go to the beach. Cause I got clear. I sat down. I was like, okay, what do I need to do to start making like literally 10K or more months? Intuition said, go to the beach. And I said, okay, whatever. So I go to the beach and I'm laying there and like kind of starting to fall asleep. And next to me, I hear someone being like saying something like that had nothing to do with anything, but it gave me this idea of like, oh my gosh, create a mentorship program. And basically it was like, create a mentorship program where you teach other people how to do what you do, and where you start training them on how to use their intuition, on how to look in on things and heal themselves of certain blocks and obstacles or whatever it is, right? And so I was like, okay, fuck yes. So I go home and all I do is just text my clients. Like, I don't have an online business at this point. Like, I just text my clients and I'm like, hey, mentorship program, like, who wants to come in? And I think 2 people did, like, that first time. I can't remember. I think, yeah, it was 2 people. And then it grew and grew. Okay. So February 2020, I maybe made $500 like the whole month. And that is being generous. Like, I'd say probably 400, probably 350. I'd be lucky if it was 500. Then March 2020, it went to 5,000 something. Then June 2020 was my first over 10K month. It was like 11,100 something. And that is what we call the bamboo tree. The law of bamboo tree. The universal law of the bamboo tree is what I've decided to call it. It is a bamboo tree grows underground for 6 to 7 years, but you don't see it growing. The bamboo tree is literally growing underground for 6 to 7 years, but from the human perspective, it looks like nothing's happening. Then overnight, one night, it pops up and it sprouts 60 to 70 feet. This is a real thing that happens. That was like my bamboo tree moment. I worked my ass off, ate shit for a very, very, very long time from 19 years old, my whole life, but doing this work from 19 years old to 24. And that started happening, okay? Now, here's the kicker. I got a grip on certain creator field things around this time, around career, business, and money. But I didn't get a grip on all of them. So I sustained my around 10K to 15K months for a while, for about like a year, okay? Then around the time when I moved to Dallas, which was, I was 25. Whoa, that's weird. Trippy. Anyway, I was 25. I moved into like my dream fucking apartment. It was this high-rise apartment, It was like floor to ceiling windows, 180 views of the city on all different angles, all different sides, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, all to myself, brand new luxury apartment, like 24/7 concierge, like the whole fucking shebang. Well, and this apartment was like about $4,000 a month. So I moved in this apartment. And then right after I moved in this apartment, 2-3 months down the road, just everything fucking crashes. Everything crashes. I'm no longer making my 10 to 15K months. I'm barely making $2,000. And I'm like, what the fuck? I have my rent to pay. Like, I literally am not going to be able to pay it. So this was when I started discovering emotional ingredients and creator field ingredients. So far up until that point, I created the business off of universal laws, which worked, but I was missing a big chunk, like we talked about in the last episode, of creation and the manifestation. So, and I had certain creation things, but it was really like universal laws, which is part of creation manifestation, but I didn't know or learn or understand ingredients until this time. This is what really made me dive into ingredients in the creator field. Well, 25, my business is fucking tanking. Everything in my life is hitting the fan. My relationship with Justin, I'm with Justin at this point. That's fucking a shit show. My business is a shit show. My finances were a shit show. Everything was a fucking shit show. My self-image, again, tanked and was a shit show because part of my self-image was still the fact that like I had things going for me externally. So it was quite literally a shit show. Again, higher self soul plan route, not fucking easy. We're taught to think, oh, when you get on your soul plan, you're going to just make money. We think, oh, when you get on your soul plan, it's just going to be easy. You're just going to know what to do. It's just everyone's going to flock to you. You're going to make all the money you want. No, I was on my fucking soul plan. Your girl thinks she got it figured out. And then instead of it going up, it just crashed down. And the rest of my other parts of my life were also crashing down. Again, higher self plan, not easy. Higher self plan also, this is a relationship podcast for a different day, but was in a relationship with Justin. Our souls at that time, not a fucking easy experience with each other. We were highly, highly reflective. That's what happens when you're with a high soul match. Again, that's the soul pull route. That's the higher self route, the fucking hardest way to go. It's way easier to be in a relationship with someone who's not a soul match to you. They will not reflect you as much as someone who is a soul match to you. Understand? So, different thing for a different day with relationships, but with career, higher soul pull career was going great, and then it failed me again, right? Or what you would think has failed you. Not the easy route. But thank fucking God, because this is what led me to ingredients. This is what led me to, okay, I created this thing for like a year and a half. I was getting solid 10 to 15K months for like a year and a half. And then all of a sudden it drops. So I got led to figure out creator field stuff and ingredients and holding the density of something, density in a good way, of what you're creating and how to sustain it and how to replicate it. And this is what led me to where I am now. So thank fucking goodness this happened. At the time, I was a fucking wreck, crying hysterically on my bathroom floor. Had floor to ceiling windows, the best view in all the land of Dallas, an automatic toilet, but I was literally crying on the bathroom floor with the good views because I was like, fuck, what the fuck's going on? Literally debated, even at that time, I was like, oh my God, am I going to have to go get another job? Like, how am I going to pay for this fucking apartment? And there was even a time where I literally, like, there was a breathwork teacher I was working with at the time who like was like this, such a mom to me, like such this beautiful mother energy. I was talking to her about what was going on, not expecting anything at all, of course. And then she like sent me the money for rent, like 3 months for 3 months in a row. Like, I manifested and created help, but not from where I wanted it to come from. And I hear that a lot too, of like, I keep manifesting money, but it's not where I want it to come from. And so I figured out like how to get it to streamline through your soul pull during this time. So thank God this happened. But again, not the easy route. The higher self route, the soul pull, was the hardest thing that could possibly have happened to me at this time. it's interesting. I'm so far removed from the emotion of this, so it's hard for, and I'm so grateful it happened now because like it got me here and with all these new tools, but it's hard for me to explain how devastating and hard this was for me. But I just want you to think about this. Like, you think you have something going, and then you get this nice apartment and you're getting these nice things, and all of a sudden it comes crashing fucking down, and you don't know why. And you just don't know why. Like, I had no idea why. And this was where like there was no business person, there was no podcast, there was no nothing that was going to help me. I had to go right to the source. I had to go to the source truth of what the fuck is going on. Like, what am I missing? And starting to find the missing pieces like we talked about in the last episode with intentional creation. This is where I started to learn that fully. So I'm 25 to like 26 and a half. I'd say 25 to like 26 and a half. Yeah, 26 and a half. I am like rebuilding my business. Obviously, we're online at this point. I started posting. That's another thing I have to say with social media in a second. But I started posting online like actually business stuff around like, I think I was 23. But at this point, obviously, like I have a full online business, like there's online courses and that kind of thing too. So from like 25 to like 26 and a half, I'd say, I'm trying to like recall all of this. I'm just in rebuild mode. I am working on my creator field. I am understanding ingredients now. I am pulling in these tools from source of like, what's the source way of making this work? Like, what's going on? Again, fucking hard, because for a year and a half, I was struggling again. I was struggling while also having to kind of look like I wasn't. Like I had a full-blown business, and like I couldn't just sit there online and say that I'm fucking struggling all day long. Like I wanted to be helpful and empowering to people. And I knew I was getting a better formula, so I didn't want people to not trust me when I got the better formula. You know what I mean? Because I knew I trusted myself to get it. So I was getting the better formula and I was working on it. And it was painful because I'm doing all this work on my creator field, but for a year and a half, it didn't, from the external, look like it paid off. So again, from the human eye, from the human perspective, I am not doing so hot. But internally, I knew I had to fucking keep getting the inner workings of the creator field, getting the knowledge of the creator field, of the source truth on business and what ingredients your creator field needs for business to thrive and all of that. Well, then I'm 27. Age isn't real to me, by the way. So like, it's really hard for me to remember these years because in my head, I'm 24. I've literally programmed, you'll learn this in Glow Formula, but I've literally programmed that I'm 24. Everyone thinks I'm 24. So when I look back on these, I'm like 27. Wait, I'm not even 27 yet. Like, it's confusing to me. But I'm just saying numbers just so like it makes sense here for the timeline purposes. But I'm 27 and shit just starts to fucking click, man. I can't even tell you. Like all this, the last year and a half of creator field work and new ingredient work and like implementing that and like discovering that stuff. Holy fucking shit, let me tell you what happened. I had people reaching out to me. They wanted to make a show about the work I did. I had a ghostwriter, multiple ghostwriters, one specifically reach out to me who has published and not wrote over 1 million books, who has sold over 1 million books and is like a very, very well-known ghostwriter. And she just reached out to me, found me on TikTok and was like, I want to write a book with you. That happened. I had people just wanting sessions. I had people begging me for more courses. I mean, it was another bamboo tree moment where I put my head down, was humble as fuck, and was, instead of like trying to go out and like fix things from the outside in of like, oh, let me try this, let me go do this, let me go take this business course, let me go get this job so I can look like I have this money so I can do this. I was like, fuck it, like I'm gonna eat shit again. I'm gonna go in, take the soul pull route. What's the soul lesson here? What's my soul want to master here? My soul obviously didn't master this, which is why I'm eating shit again when I'm 25. Let me dive back in. Dove back in. I'm 27. All this shit is fucking popping off and happening because of certain ingredients that I have now plugged in. Well, now what also happened is I was then making around, like I'd say, consistent like 30, 40K months. Okay. Well, then intuition was like, you've got to hire a COO. And I was like, okay. I wrote down, I did some creation practice, some creation tools around the best COO, my dream COO. It fucking worked. And when we go advanced with this stuff, if we ever do like a course where we go advanced, I will tell you the step-by-step process that I did to create the perfect fucking team, because they are elite. Like COO Sarah, my whole entire team, but right now we're talking about COO Sarah, is just fucking elite. I cannot even tell you. When we get to the advanced version of this in the course, I will tell you the exact formula of how I did that. Another thing I discovered during when I was 25 and eating shit, once again, thank God it happened at the time. Fucking awful, fucking terrible, fucking embarrassing. Couldn't afford anything again. Couldn't afford my apartment. Like, was late on rent. Was too embarrassed to tell Justin. So like, didn't get any of his help because I didn't want to tell him, because I was too embarrassed, because I had too much of this I didn't want anyone to feel bad for me, because I knew I was going to figure it out. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I am at this point 27, making 30 to 40K months. And at that point, I only had 2 team members. Both of them were like half in, half out. Like both, like one of them was also like building her own business. And like, she used to be a mentorship student. So she essentially does what I do. So she was building her own business. The other one, same thing, was building her own business in like a different thing, but like didn't want to be full-time. So I had 2 team members, both like part-time. And at this point, I was like, okay, I need to wipe my whole team. I loved the 2 girls. They were incredible. But they didn't, like, I needed full-time, full bought into Team Allie people. So I let go of everyone, and I hired COO Sarah, which I had a perfect formula to manifest her. And to a T, she is every single thing and more. Like, I could not have dreamt up a better COO. Like, I'm not joking you. COO Sarah comes on. COO Sarah is an incredible COO. She has grown. She was a COO at a different company and grew it from 2 employees to over 100 in like 3 years, I believe, or two to 3 years. She took companies over $1 million very fast. Like, this girl is elite. And I knew, because it's not all energetic, it's not all physical. You need 100% of both to create. And that's big part of the creation process and creation formula that we'll talk about in like the workshop that there's a wait list for this, the 2-hour live workshop that we'll also talk about if we get to like an advanced course. You need 100% energetic. You need 100% physical. Sarah was going to bring me the 100% physical actions we needed to implement. I had the energetic for us. I needed her for the physical. I'm ADHD. I am not an organized person. I am not a processes person. I am not that is not me. That is COO Sarah. Her and I, dream team, because we balance out the universe. I am so far one way. She's so far the other way. We have incredible gifts. My gifts are like her weaknesses. Her gifts are my weaknesses. It is fucking perfect. We are perfect for each other. She's my platonic soulmate, okay? She comes in, and when did she come in? She came in last March. So this past March, the most recent March from where we are today. Within, I'm trying to think, 2 months of her coming in, we start making 6-figure months. Not even 6-figure months, multiple 6-figure months. And within the time she came in to, I think it was 2 months ago, like October or end of September, from March to end of September, just in those months, the business made over $1 million just in those months, not even in the year, like just in those months. And so I went from eating shit at 25 and 26 to then making multiple 6 figures at 27 to then a millionaire at 28. And we're continuing that. And we're just getting fucking started, by the way. This is just the beginning. But I ate a lot of shit to get here. And this is the soul pull route, which is not easy, right? It is a lot easier to honestly go the human way. It's easier mentally, emotionally. It's easier from the outside perspective of how people perceive you, right? Like my parents were so concerned for me. They would literally tell my sister, my little sister, Nicole, she's 10 years younger than me. You don't want to end up like your sister, Nicole. You don't want to end up like your sister. You better go to college. Well, now my sister's about to drop out of college because they've all just seen what I've done by 28. But I had to fucking put my head down and know that no one was going to fucking understand me or what I was doing. Even Justin doesn't understand what I'm doing a lot of times. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, trust. And it's about self fucking trust, following the soul pull route. And I can only speak to where I'm at now, but we are just getting started. The ingredients I've been implementing have been sustaining multiple 6-figure months every fucking month since we hit the first one. So that being said, any time that something has gone wrong in my life or whatever, I didn't succumb. I just went, what is the soul pull mastery my soul is trying to gain here? What is the soul lesson? What am I supposed to learn here that I can teach and share to the world? And I always look at it like that. Whenever I'm eating shit with anything in life, whether it's career, finances, or relationship, or any area of life, I'm literally going, what is the soul lesson? How is this going to just make me and my life better? But also, how is this going to help insane amounts of people? How is it going to fill a white space in the market that's not there? And how is this going to, as a result of helping a lot of people, make me a lot of money so I can live the life that I want to live and not have to worry about money? Not have to worry about money so I can help more people. The higher self route is fucking hard. It looks tragic from the outside a lot, but it is the most rewarding. You will be thankful you took it. Looking back now at all these stories, I'm like, thank fucking God. Was it awful at the time? Absolutely. Was I crying a lot? Absolutely. Was I stressed out of my fucking mind? Absolutely. Am I happy I did it? Fuck yes, I am. Fuck yes, I am. Because look where I am. Look where it got me to. And I'm only 28 and we're just getting fucking started. Just getting started. In that time too, from Sarah coming on, my team went from 0, because I let go of the 2 who were part-time, hired on Sarah, and then we now have a team of, oh my gosh, 7. We have a team of 7, about to be 8 because Emma's coming on by the time you hear this podcast. We have a team of 8 now within not even a year. That's what we've been able to do and shift and create. Also, to go on the topic of social media, the higher self route is going to be the harder route. It would be easy to go viral just doing like little trends all day long. It would be easy to say something just radical or like do something stupid to go viral. Or you can take the soul pull route, stay true to what you want to talk about, to what you want to say. Doesn't matter if one person's watching or 2 million people. And yes, it might be a longer and slower build, but it's going to be worth it. People are going to take you more seriously. You are going to get what you want out of that. I've been on, so I had an old social media account, like an old Allie Ninfo, Allie_Ninfo, if you want to go like creep on it. It's just like my old Instagram. When I started this, like online, I think I was like 23, I made a new Instagram and I just started posting on there, but I wasn't really trying to like sell anything. I was just like posting, I think you could only post photos at the time, or like photos and videos. Photos and like 1-minute videos I think you could post at the time. I make my little caption and post them, and there weren't even Instagram stories, I don't think, at this time. And I just started with 0 followers when I was 23. I humbly also ate shit when I said I had about 10K followers on my other account, but like for the wrong reasons. Like it was for like the dance videos I was posting and the videos of my body and like just validation things. And I was like, I don't want this energy in like the business I'm starting. So left that Instagram alone, didn't delete it. It's still up. It's just I don't use it. Made a new one and started with 0 followers. Even to this day on Instagram, 23 to 28, there's only, and I say only because that's the human perspective. The human perspective would say there's only, 13.5K, I think, on there. that could be something that really, really fucks people up. Of like, oh my God, I've been posting from 23 to 28. Like, what the fuck? And then meanwhile, you got to think, I watched Justin get on Instagram like 2 years ago and just like, I think he has like 80,000 on there. I watched Nikki. I had an intuitive thing of Nikki needed to start posting videos, and he did. And he like also has like 90,000 or something. I like watched all my like friends get on there and just really, really take off right away. And I realized, oh my gosh, like it's not remember how I talked about in the last episode, soul plan versus creation and manifesting. It wasn't a soul plan for me to just like take off right away on there. Like my soul really wanted to build a community. Like I really deeply value our community. And when I had 500 followers, you guys, I was making $11,000 a month, 11,000 to 15,000. You know, before 25, I had that like era where I ate shit again. But like when I first started making the 10K to 15K a month, I had 500 followers. I didn't even have TikTok at the time. TikTok, I have like, there's like around 133,000, I think, in our community there now, but there wasn't TikTok at the time. I didn't have TikTok at the time. And so I want you to know something. Followers don't equal community and or money. I had 500 followers, but I loved them and we built a community. And even now, like I kind of like don't like getting like a wave of new followers. Like you're always welcome and I do love it, but like there's this part of me that's like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I don't know you yet. Like I feel like I love and I know our community. And then when we get new people, I'm like, wait, I don't know you. Like, hold on. Like we need to know each other. I need to know you. I need to feel connected to you, and I need to feel like you're connected to me. And so even that, like I could have easily been upset, frustrated, and like wanted to give up. But I'm looking at the soul pull of it all. I'm looking at the soul, what my soul wants to master. My soul wants to master like a deep connection of community. My soul wants to master like feeling like, even though I can't individually talk to everyone every single day, that it feels like we are, and that we feel connected, and that everyone feels like they can come to me in the DMs and tell me cool stories and tell me things they're working through. Like that's really, really important to me. And I realize if you grow too fast, like overnight like that, you don't get to keep that same connection. I'd so much rather a slow burn that's sustainable than like a quick thing. Remember, the quick thing is always a pendulum swing. It's a quick thing and then it tanks. And like, I've even seen it with Justin, and like we talk about this all the time. Like he would let me talk about this. Like he says it all the time. But when he first got on there, like it was this quick thing. And then now it's like get more views on videos than him. And he is way more of a like quote following. I cringe at the following followers. I hate that. I like to call it community. Anyway, my whole point of that is one, you don't like focus on just doing what you fucking love, following the soul pull, following the soul plan. You're going to eat shit. It's going to be the harder route. It's not going to be the glamorous route. When you get through it and learn the soul masteries and tap into like your own unique mastery, it does start to look glamorous, but getting there is not glamorous at all, at all, at all, at all. And understand that like going back to even the community numbers online, it means nothing about you. It means nothing about your work. You've got to stay true to yourself. I could have decided to make really, really short video clips, say like random stuff that I know that people would resonate with to go viral. I choose not to. I choose to teach what I really feel called to teach, and I know it's going to land in the right person's lap. And part of my mastery right now is doing that and growing the community from that place, and not from like selling my soul to grow it from a place that's not authentic to me. So again, the easier route is to just go to the place that's not authentic, to just make it happen quicker. The harder route is the higher self soul pull route, which is really developing the mastery over community and connection to people. And if I can do that, then we can grow more and more and more, and we can all still feel really, really connected. And that's so important to me. So my whole point of this episode was to share a personal story while also explain to you simultaneously the higher self route is going to be the hardest route. The ego human route is going to be easier. You will get resistance. You will get, like, it will be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. I'm not lying, but the rewards will be the best thing you've ever done in your life. I'm not lying about that either. It's like the law of not opposing forces, the law of balance, right? Something so hard. So it's going to have to be really, really, really easy and rewarding at one point. It's literally how the universe works because of the law of balance. So if something is insanely fucking hard right now and you just keep eating shit, honestly, it's a great telling sign that you're probably partly on your soul path. If you're not fully on it, there's a part of it that is your soul path, because there's a lot of levels of mastery. And if you're a high conscious soul, like we talked about in the last episode, sorry if you hear honey barking. If you're a high conscious soul, like we talked about in the last episode, things are going to be harder for you because your soul is going to want to have a mastery over them. And you, like, does that make sense? It was so hard for me when I was 25 to like figure out what the fuck happened that I just stopped making money, because my soul wanted a mastery over the exact ingredients, the exact things, the exact actions, the exact universal laws, how you had to feel, the thought broadcasts, understanding ingredients and understanding all of it, so that now I could not only hold it and know how to replicate it, which we've been doing over and over and over again, but also be able to teach and help other people and have incredible results doing so. So I'm going to leave you with this. Listen to this a few times. It's a lot. I want you to like really absorb this information into your brain, into your body, into your emotional field. And again, just know, like, I'm not even describing half of how fucking hard this was, because I'm really removed from it emotionally and I'm so grateful for it. But it was fucking hard. I mean, the hardest thing, like, just think of the hardest thing you've ever experienced. That was that for me. Like, going through all of this, figuring all this out, like watching other people online like do half the things that I was doing and like figuring it out. But now what's funny is I'm watching those same people start to go down. I'm seeing the soul pole pendulum start to swing the other way. When mine, I stayed true to myself. I stayed true to my soul pole. I built it like a bamboo tree, slowly but surely, with intention and not turning my head, not comparing. Well, I did, but I stopped. And it's paying off massively. And that's what I want for you too. So please, if you feel different, it's a good thing. It means you are. It means you're here to do something in the world no one else is doing. And you need to stay on that path and trust it. Okay. Stay tuned for the next episode in this series. And if you haven't already, get on the wait list. We are doing a 2-hour live workshop over Zoom in January called the Career Advantage. And we are diving into some source formulas to get your creator field right, to be seen, stand out, earn more in your soul pull. So I'm very excited for that. The wait list will be linked for you in the show notes. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I'm really, really just honored that you're here. And the community we have is truly the most special fucking thing in the world to me. And just thank you for being here. And please celebrate yourselves for doing this work. It is not easy work. You are taking the really, really the hardest path possible. So celebrate yourself for that. Okay, I will see you in the next episode.